Disclaimer! While I may be roasting this character, I do not hate him. This video is for two main purposes. One is for fun and for laughs. I will be using mostly satirical commentary. A lot of people don't understand that I am never actually angry in my rant videos. I exaggerate for comedic purposes. Seriously, chill. Second is to show you these characters' flaws. A lot of people portray these characters, especially if they are their favorites, as nearly perfect babies that can do no wrong. Think of this as a comedic character flaw analysis. I'm also going off of comic events, not historical. I'm not talking about what the country has done, because these countries' decisions are only secondary to their bosses, but I am focusing on the character itself. Please keep your bitching to an absolute minimum. Thank you.
Hello my fellow Hetalians and welcome back to Hetafax. A lot of you have been requesting this one, so here it is. Like I said before, no character is safe from my roast. None. Not even my favorites. Today, my fellow Hetalians, we are going to be roasting none other than Lithuania. And I guess I'm going to roast all of my favorite characters at some point. Yep. So let's make this lit. First, his appearance. Seriously, what is going on with your hair? You would get in major trouble in the USSR for having that haircut. You would be considered a Western punk and charged with Western decadence. I don't know, maybe Lithuania wanted to look like Romas Kalanta, but without the mustache. Also, why are you so small? In Lithuania, men that are less than 180 centimeters or less than 6 feet are considered short. You would be a midget in your own country, since you are shorter than America. Anyways, let's move on. Number 1, he's too serious. I understand that you were born into war where you were constantly being attacked for being a pagan, and that's why it is said you are more serious in Germany. But this means that not only does he take any task that he is given way too seriously, but he's also kind of a buzzkill. It's been stated that his sense of humor is worse than Germany's, and he's even worse at understanding jokes. I would like to turn to this fan comic to portray how Lithuania's sense of humor actually is. 2. Always working. Lithuania is the kind of person who wants to take care of everyone he can, and thus, he does way too much in order to do so. It is said that once Lithuania starts to do something, he'll give it his all and work incredibly hard at it. He often overworks himself, going as far as to even work on Halloween and Christmas. He works to the point where he's late for a lot of other things, and where he doesn't have time for anything else. Heck, he still works for America in modern strips, even though he doesn't have to anymore. But I guess he actually likes doing that. It is clear that Russia has overworked him too, to the point where he couldn't sleep for days. As a result, all this work leads to a lot of stress, which brings me to my next point. 3. He is a chaotic ball of stress. As stated before, Lithuania is a workaholic. But all this work has led to a lot of stress-related issues. And these physical symptoms of stress can include stomach aches, being overly tired and sleeping through things, anxiety, restlessness, feeling overwhelmed, alcohol abuse, fatigue, and even emotional outbursts. And those are just the symptoms we have seen from him. Other stress-related issues can include headaches, over or under eating, muscle or chest pain, sexual dysfunction, sleep problems, depression, smoking tobacco, high blood pressure, and social withdrawal. It would be not surprising if Lithuania has at least 1 or 2 of these, and since he apparently has polyuria, which only comes in adults due to very high levels of stress, it is clear that the stress is physically hurting him. Him working all the time, combined with the fact that he always worries about everything, creates a lot of stress and tension. His stress management skills are, I guess, a bit better. I mean, we can assume he works out at the very least, since he didn't get that body just by sitting at his desk all day. But clearly it's not enough, and we see it taking a massive toll on his body. If he continues a lifestyle like this, especially with cuisine consisting of cepelina and potato sausage and very hard alcohol, all which are very not good for you, any human who lived like this would have had a heart attack by now. 4. Total pushover. It has been stated numerous times in many character profiles that time and time again, Lithuania is known to be pushed around. He can stand up to pressure just fine, and sometimes tries to stand up to Poland, but that almost always fails. Poland pushes him around, doesn't take his opinions into consideration, and does numerous horrible things to him. Take a look at my Poland and Lithuania video. And after all that, Lithuania still considers him one of his best friends. He bends over backwards for his bosses. His profile states that, quote, he tries to be a big brother figure and enjoys looking after others. However, it may be this kindness and concern for others that cause him so much distress. Apparently, all you need to do is tell him to do something vehemently enough, and he'll do it. He has been the victim of peer pressure numerous times. He hates embarrassing things, but will strip with little resistance because of peer pressure. Recently, he has gotten better, and he's starting to stand up to Russia and puts up at least a little bit of a fight, but more often than not, Russia often ends up having his way with him anyways. And this lack of ability to put his foot down has contributed to a lot of things, such as his stress issues, him overworking himself, being pushed around all the time. And most importantly, it leads me to my last point. But first, speed round. He apologizes too much, always nervous, gets embarrassed way too easily, thinks embarrassing things are wrong, has a weak stomach, which means that either he can't tolerate certain foods or he can't handle very gory things. May have an alcohol problem. Presses himself so much that he gives himself stomach aches. Blames Russia for things that aren't even connected to him. 6. He is a magnet for toxic relationships. Before I go into this, I'm not putting the blame on the victim in this situation. I have been in manipulative and toxic relationships before, and I know how hard it is to realize it and break out of it. However, there is a degree to which the victim's behavior feeds into this relationship. I have been that pushover. I know what it's like to be that person that doesn't know how to say no. But I know a lot of my situations would have gone a lot better if I just stood up for myself and said no. I've said it once and I'll say it again. All Lithuania ships are problematic, and this is due to Lithuania's nature of wanting to take care of everyone, him not being able to stand up for himself, giving in easily to peer pressure, overly devoting himself to things, and being easy to take advantage of, which makes him a huge target for toxic relationships. Let's analyze each of his relationships and discuss why they are problematic, shall we? I've already discussed Lithuania and Poland's problematic relationship in another video. Yet despite all of this, Lithuania still considers Poland his best friend. We can see how much stress this relationship brings him and how much he just wants to be done with Poland, but he stays and continues to be treated this way. He even rehabilitated with him after the USSR. But Lithuania holds back criticizing Poland, constantly checks up on him during the time before World War II, even though Poland still had his capital at that point, and goes out of his way to help him when he's in trouble. Poland pushes Lithuania around because Lithuania lets him. He doesn't treat Italy the same way, it just seems to be with Lithuania. Lithuania values Poland's friendship more, even if it means being mistreated. That is the type of mentality that people like this have. Now let's move on to Belarus. Even though this is my OTP, I am not going to hold back on Lithuania's problematic crush on Belarus. After this scene where she breaks his fingers, we can come to one of 3 conclusions. 1, Lithuania is so infatuated with Belarus that he doesn't want to see her flaws, or that she doesn't like him. 2, he's a masochist and is enjoying this. Or 3, Belarus is so hot and Lithuania is way too determined to get in her pants. That doesn't change the fact that the first conclusion is not a healthy way of thinking. Maybe Lithuania values his relationships that have lasted a long time more, such as with Poland and Belarus, and he sees those as 2 relationships that he's had for a long time, thus feels like he puts more effort into it. I can understand that. America. Not very problematic, but I find it strange and kind of disturbing how Lithuania is so happy subjugating himself to work as America's maid. It says a lot about his character, but the fact that he will do anything America says, no matter how ridiculous, shows that maybe Lithuania has an unhealthy amount of adoration for America. If America really wanted to, he could get Lithuania to do literally anything for him. Luckily, America isn't a very manipulative person. Contrary to popular headcanons, America is not a very manipulative person. He just doesn't have the skills or the will to do it. And now we go to the big boy, Russia. Oh boy. This is the one relationship Lithuania has successfully been able to break away from. He even threw out all of his stuff that was Russia's after he left. But his profile states that every now and then, Russia still pushes him around. He was able to stand up for himself and break away from Russia, but if Russia still pushes him around now and intimidates him now, it doesn't really say much about his ability to say no. Also, it takes way too long for him to notice certain behaviors. Oh, I didn't know Russia had such a soft side until the 1940s. Really? How long have you been working for him again? About 100 years at that point? Come on, Lithuania! This scene didn't stand out to you? Also, look at how he acts whenever Poland does something douchey. He acts like it came out of nowhere. Take a hint, Lithuania. Throw some red flags or something. At this point, he's had these relationships for how many centuries now? And he recognizes the problematic behaviors but doesn't even suggest that they change. Well, he did once, but that actually might have been a dream.
And these people aren't immune to change. Poland and Russia have both been shown to be open to changing themselves if asked. But Lithuania enables this behavior, which not only makes things worse for himself, but for others.
He even ignores the people that do like him in favor of these toxic relationships. The other two Baltics deeply admire him and even fight over who Lithuania likes more, but Lithuania always ignores them for Poland. These two are people that could be non-toxic friends, but Lithuania chooses a problematic relationship over a stable one with these two. He's getting better at standing up to Russia at least, and to Poland, but he just needs to pick better friends. Well, I believe we have lit this Lithuanian on fire. But Lithuania is a pretty well-written character, which is why he is one of my favorites. He's such an interesting character with an interesting history, and that shows in his personality. And sure, I guess he's getting better at standing up for himself and protesting against other people's actions and what they want to do with him. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be any significant change anytime soon. These flaws are what make Lithuania such a deep character, but it would be nicer if he learned how to say no every now and then. And that was 1 mark higher on your history test. Thank you for watching Hetafacts.
Hello, my fellow Hetalians. I have people that often tell me that they're looking for other Hetalia YouTubers, so I just want to give a couple of shoutouts to a few awesome Hetalia channels that I believe are undersubbed. First of all, Love L12 does a variety of videos, and they do a lot of top 10s and theories, and I've done many collabs with them. Kazujiro is criminally undersubbed, and he does a lot of Hetalia Let's Plays that are really fun to watch. He also plays a lot of my games if you want to see Let's Plays of those, so he's the one to go to for that. And the third person who I want to shout out is Atra. She is an MMD animator and has done work for Russification Roulette and is fantastic at it. People who are fans of the Eastern European characters, like those probably watching this video, I guarantee you will love her content. If you think there is anyone else who deserves a shout out, let me know and I will do it next time, but until then, keep on studying.